Okay, welcome super secret agent trainees to WhizGirls Academy. Today we have our super special master trainer, MaryRuth Ghiyam. She is the founder of MaryRuth Organics, and she's going to share her phenomenal story of where she started from her childhood until now, the founder of MaryRuth Organics. Welcome, MaryRuth.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really hope for anyone listening today that this just adds a little bit of value or inspiration to their daily life.
Thank you. Okay, so let's start with you telling us about your childhood.
Sure. So currently I am 39 years old, and I, for the first 10 years of my life, had, I think, just like a very normal, kind of simple childhood. My parents were very happily married, and I lived in New Jersey and had one brother, Daniel, who was 2 years younger than me. And I played basketball and ran cross country and was like all state in lacrosse, and really just like enjoying a very like simple childhood. And then I had something happen when I was 12 that was probably the first challenge as a young adult, which was my dad, who was 42 years old at the time, passed away suddenly. And a couple years after that, my 17-year-old brother, Daniel, also passed away suddenly. And so at a very young age, I really experienced what it is to lose something or someone that you love. And I think looking back on it now, all these years, the most the most powerful thing for me in overcoming those two challenges at such a young age is that it ultimately made me more open to people. It expanded my heart. So sometimes we think when something challenging happens in our childhood or in our life at a young age, sometimes we feel that this will shrink us. But many years later, I'm married now. I have four amazing young children and a very special team that I work with every day at my company. And I really think that those losses, like early in life, really ultimately expanded my heart to be open to people. And so just kind of to keep that in mind, which is people go through challenging things at any age, but especially when you're young, especially when you're under 20, to just hold on to this is there to help expand who you are and not shrink who you are. So,
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm so sorry to hear about your losses, but it's really important to share your challenges and how you've overcome them. And we want to hear more about that moving forward. Tell us about your hobbies and your passions first, and as a child now, and if you had a dream job back then.
so basically, when I was younger, it's so funny because what I used to love a long time ago, I still love very much today. So cooking, baking, and kind of making anything, especially baking. I have so many memories of just people would come over our house, or we'd be vacationing at the lake house, and we'd have to use like a little generator in the kitchen to like make food. And um, when I was younger, I loved sports and I love to be on teams. And then again, you fast forward to the adult version of myself, which is if it were the last day of my life, I would go running outside. I wouldn't want to run inside. I want to run outside with the sun and the sky and the breeze. And I love being in the sun. So I would want to be like tanning and being with all my friends and family, and I would want to bake something or make something. And even in a lot of business meetings that we have monthly reporting with our investors, we have board meetings. I always come to those events with like chocolate chip cookies made from almond flour and maple syrup and snickerdoodle cookies and chocolate chip banana bread. And I always find that even in business meetings, it's like we go to expos as a team. I love to come with something, even like gluten-free bagels. So that is my love language, just like giving snacks and food to people that I care about.
I love it. That's awesome. All right, so tell us about your journey. Actually, first, when did you hear about STEM? And STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And did you have any mentors along the way?
So there it's so amazing because I mentioned I have four children, and one of them is 6 years old, one of them is 5 years old, and then I had twins that are going to be 3 years old in October. So I've had my own experience growing up and had mentors in high school that were mentors who were just very impactful, and and then also just to bring it full circle, like doing STEM with my own children now, or like going they give you like a school tour, going to like the STEM classroom with my 5 year old and 6 year old, where they like wear their white lab coats and work on projects. So it's very much at the forefront of just like my daily life because of my children. And um, also, I later on in life, Gary Vee is actually on the board of my company. And so kind of being a part of that community in the last 2 years, I've learned a lot from a lot of people.
Yeah, we'd love to hear how you got Gary Vee. That would be an awesome thing to share. And for people that don't know who Gary Vee is, maybe you should tell us for our secret agents because they might not know who he is.
Yes. So, I mean, even before Gary was into kind of Web3, I I just liked watching his videos mostly because he talks about perseverance and self-awareness. So I remember when he first started to become big on Facebook, I don't know, maybe 2016, 2017, I can't, maybe 2008, I can't really remember, but out of nowhere, I started seeing this person on Facebook, and he spoke a lot about self-awareness, just like being aware of what makes you happy, and then following that path. And um yeah, I mean, mostly he became well known through just like social media kind of marketing and ad spend, and all of that. And he's usually really great at spotting long-term trends that will like basically affect us in a positive way.
Awesome. Thank you for telling us about more about that. Okay, so now we want to hear about your journey from New Jersey to LA, where you went to college, how you got into nutrition, and how you became the founder of MaryRuth Organics. And if you have any pictures or anything you want to show us, please show us.
Yeah. So, again, yes, born in New Jersey, ironically, Bridgewater, New Jersey, which is also where Gary Vee grew up. My dad went to the same high school as Gary Vee, and like we would go to the same Toys R Us kind of Somerville Circle, Toys R Us, just kind of like very, for anyone who knows New Jersey, um, just really like, again, simple kind of childhood. And I went to college at Fairfield. I went to, just I want to back up for 1 second. I went to the same school for 13 years. So near Rutgers University, I went to a school called Rutgers Prep, which is a very small, diverse school that I had like the same 65 kids in my class for 13 years, which is really special. And then I went to Fairfield University in Connecticut as a psychology major because after my brother passed away, I really wanted to be a psychologist. And then my sophomore year of college, my brother passed away. So I switched majors to an easier major at the time. The psychology major was extremely demanding. So I switched to sociology, which is studying the patterns of people. And uh, that also really opened my heart to a lot of the things that people go through um, in the United States as well as in the entire world. And I graduated from Fairfield University in 2006, and then I worked and lived in New York City for over 10 years. I started MaryRuth Organics in 2013. I had an office on 47th and 3rd in New York City, where I was always teaching people. We'll talk about it later, but I was teaching people the art of health for busy people. And what's kind of cool is this is very like NFT-ish. Later on, like many, many years later, a lot of the images that I had for so long really tie in nicely to some of the projects we've been doing. And I had just the nutrition practice for a few years, and then we started to make liquid vitamins. So the shortest version of that story is I was teaching people liquids to lunch, and people would say like, I love liquids to lunch, but I can't take my capsule vitamins. They make me so nauseous. And so then I thought, oh my goodness, I should make a liquid vitamin that's broad spectrum. And I didn't have any money. I was in a lot of financial debt. And I was able to, over the course of 6 months, find someone to make a small batch of liquid vitamins, which I sold in my office, which eventually we sold on Amazon, which we sold on Shopify. And, 10 years later, our company it is like growing faster, 20% faster than any other VMS brand. So it's really been incredible. And the team that I work with every day is like family to me. And I think I answered most of your questions, which was, oh, and how did I get to LA? Basically, I also married my husband, David, 10 years ago. He also didn't have any money. So we really got married in a lot of financial debt and built this company together for 10 years. And we moved to LA when I was pregnant with my first son, because David's family lives in LA. So it was like perfect. Because there's more room in LA to raise children. And it's nice for David to be near his family.
Yeah, wow. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so let me back up a second. You said you originally wanted to major in psychology, and then you majored in sociology, and then you got to nutrition. So how did that transition happen?
That's a great question. So a year after college, I did a program in Florida called Hippocrates Health Institute. So there I became a certified health educator and nutritional consultant. And what really like inspired that was my mom at the time, who again was the last immediate family member that I have. She's still with us today, but she got 2 brain tumors. So there was like a whole long healing process of her needing to get those tumors removed and learn how to walk again. And that was really where I became super dedicated and super passionate about just like health and wellness and taking care of your body. So that was like the stepping stone. Great question.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing that, because that's a huge STEM career, and I want our secret agents to know that's a huge thing, and everything that you're doing every day on a daily basis. I'm sure, like testing out what vitamins work, what doesn't, like that's all as well.
Yes. And we're very big on clinical studies. So we're running like 30 clinical studies this year. It's so expensive, but it's been so rewarding and so exciting. And just to kind of see the brand evolve, we're a B Corp certified company. We are Clean Label Project verified, which is third party, highest level benchmark testing, vegan, gluten-free. Almost all of our portfolio is non-GMO. Half of our products are USDA certified organic. And then now this is the year we really ventured into clinical studies, and we formulated like a whole line of probiotics with clinically tested and formulated strands. So it's been like very exciting even for me along the journey to really see like, man, this is amazing. Like when we have over 200 vitamin products, and when you see it go through Clean Label Project verified and you see that it's tested for 200 pollutants, contaminants, plastics, and it passes at such a high level, it keeps inspiring us, right? So like B Corp and Clean Label and clinical studies. And it's what I want to say to people is it's all about slowly and gradually are very key words, being patient and just chipping away and becoming a little bit better every month, every year. It creates a compound effect, and it's very powerful.
Absolutely. I think also the formulations that you said, that's huge in STEM as well. The R&D, like that's
innovation. Exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you talked about NFTs. I wonder if you're getting into that as well.
Yeah, it's my dream for Web3 to do an educational video game. So I think before I'd ever get into NFTs, I would want to do a very badly a video game of some sorts. My children play Mario Brothers like all the time. But I wanted to go back to what you said about STEM. Like something that's just so fascinating is quality and compliance. So learning about like the pH of one of our products and why we need to add this stabilizer or why we need to add this ingredient to help stability testing, to help shelf life. I mean, it is exciting. When you're dealing with ingestibles, things that people are ingesting, using microbiologists, it's incredible. So just wanted to call out the quality and compliance team and all of how exciting it is. We have just some incredible, very passionate people who are on our innovation team and our regulatory team.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. I think that's a whole masterclass in itself, all the different divisions and everything, and how it relates to STEM, definitely. So a little bit more, tell us a little bit more about how you became a founder. Was it something you ever dreamed of as a child of becoming a founder of a company? Was it something that happened accidentally? Like, tell us about that.
I definitely never thought I was going to be a founder um, or like running a company or anything. There were three common themes that I always noticed. One, again, just going back to the sports analogy, like I love to be part of a team. So those are like some of the happiest memories I have of like working together to play lacrosse or basketball or run cross country. Like you're not always going to be the best one on the team, but it doesn't matter. What really matters is your attitude, like how you culturally are with your teammates. And so I knew, okay, what do I love? I love being on teams. Number two, I just love being with people and positivity. So one of my friends in college, Joe, said, like, I never told this story before, but I feel that it's appropriate because we're talking to young girls who are in school. So one of my friends, and again, I never said this to anyone before, but Joe said in college, he said, this was the first time like I thought, oh, maybe like I will be like at a company or with a company or with a group of people. Joe, he was a finance major. He just said, it was a very sweet compliment. He just said, a company should have you there at the company to say hi to people and to make them feel good. And I thought that really resonated like with things that I enjoy, like connection and bonding with people and working with people. And if I'm having a bad day, like other people can lift me up, or if someone else is having a bad day, I can lift them up. I remember he said that it made so much sense to me. And then when I went to college, like I recently had to write a blog article for our company on like tips to give people who are going to college. And one of the things I wrote in the blog article was just always encouraging people to always say hi to everyone. I have a learning disability. I had like extended time on the SATs. It takes me like two times as long to read something as other people. So that's why I love time management, because it's taken me twice as long to do my work. So I need to be more efficient about what work I am doing. And um, in college, I felt like all the girls would like go, we had like on a floor, there's like a joint bathroom. So like all the girls would go into the bathroom. And I just noticed like no one would say hi to each other. And I always said hi. I was like always talking to everyone. And I think that that's a huge part of being successful and having connection is like if you are the first person to always say hi, whether you're 11, whether you're 19, whether you're 39, whether I'm at the mom's night out at my son's school for the PTA, I notice you'll always have someone to study with and to eat with and to ask for help. So important to cultivate humility. And I think to say hi first shows that you have humility and that you care. And then the third thing to answer your original question was I always wanted to take care of people. That's where the psychology part came in, because when my dad passed away, I had such an amazing psychologist help me. And then I thought, wow, like she helped me so much when I was 12. I want to do the same thing for other people. So it was more that I knew that I liked being in service to people and helping people. I just didn't know that that would manifest into like a company, because it started out, you know, even the one-on-one nutrition is very similar to one-on-one psychotherapy, right? People come to you, they say like, I'm very stressed, or I'm overwhelmed, or I don't know what to eat, or I'm not sleeping well. And so you had that one-on-one connection that eventually just turned into also supplements and where we are today.
Wow, thank you for sharing and being so authentic and real with us about what your friend Joe said. And you mentioned you haven't told anyone that before, and also your learning disability. I'm sure a lot of our secret agents have issues like that, and learning how to cope with that kind of stuff, I think, is really important. So if you could tell us how you did that, that would be great.
Yeah, this is something I'm so passionate about and something I really believe. So everyone has different beliefs, but I kind of subscribe to this idea that each person has something that they are here to contribute. And it's all about having self-awareness to know what are your gifts, what are your passions, and how can you share that with other people. And obviously we always want to be aware of our weaknesses, but we don't want to like over focus on them. I think it's so important to go where all the green lights are. And so I remember, and I'm sharing this not to say anything bad, I'm sharing it because I hope that if any of the girls are going through something like this, uh, just so that they know that I believe if you have self-awareness and you know what you're passionate about, and you have strengths, and then you're patient and you're hardworking. And everyone's definition of hardworking is different. So it's all about wherever your starting point is, every day, every week, every month, every year, you're going to just try to do a little bit better for wherever your baseline is. There's a favorite quote. I'm going to unpack a few things here, but there's a favorite quote. Everyone overestimates what they can do in 1 year and underestimates what they can do in 10 years. So even the last 10 years of the business was inching along and just not knowing all the answers, but knowing, okay, this is what we're dedicated to. This is what makes us happy, and let's inch along. And year over year, this will compound into something very special if we have self-awareness, if we have patience, if we're working hard within a 24-hour period. So knowing, hey, am I doing a little bit better than I was last summer? And if the answer is yes, you are on track for something very, very powerful. I have one of my favorite books over here. I didn't plan on showing this at all, but I have all these Kobe books because he has always spoken about the compound effect, this idea that everyone wants to be at the top of the mountain, and they think it just happens like with one giant quantum leap, like a giant quantum leap to the top of the mountain. But Kobe Bryant always used to speak about that it's the compound effect. It's like every day putting in the work. I listened to something where it said that he was very bad at basketball, like when he was 16, but he said to himself, okay, could I be as good as this person? Like someone very good. Could I ever be as good as Michael Jordan? Well, we'll never know. But he inched along and compounded for his own personal best. So I wanted to first say that. The second thing I wanted to say was when I actually had the learning disability, it was very hard because, oh, it was so bad. In first grade, I was struggling. In second grade, the teacher passed me to third grade and didn't hold me back. And she should have held me back, but she told my parents later on that it was her last year as a teacher, her retiring year. And so she didn't want to hold anyone back. Because my mom's like, how did MaryRuth get to third grade not knowing, like being really bad at reading? There was this guy named Jeffrey Jaworski who used to have to take me out in the hall and read me the books. And I missed gym class, bands, choir. I would always have to do like flashcards. And one time the flashcard was picnic, PIC dash NIC picnic and I couldn't get it. And I remember the teacher was very frustrated at me. And then there was a spelling bee. I couldn't spell balloon. I couldn't spell peace. I have a lot of those, like moments, but my mom and myself, we just, kept persevering. And then it was okay for a while until again, like the SATs or like college, I had never learned a foreign language, but it's okay. My husband got like a 1600 on his SATs. He's very, very smart. But it doesn't matter. It's like, it's all about happiness for you, contributing and feeling like this path, whatever path you choose, is something that you are dedicated to. And it will always change. You will change. You will have like 10 or 15 iterations of who you will be. And so many things won't go as planned, but the key is to go slow. But our number one motto at our company is move forward every day. So that's like my whole life's work and sharing and teaching is always just move forward every day. And some days you're going to move forward fast. Some days you're going to move forward so slow it looks like you're not even going forward. But the key is to have a perseverance and to keep just inching along. And those inches equal a compound effect that will take you somewhere. And by the way, just talking about science, I think that's how like all great inventions were ever done, right? Like it's like not moving forward, nothing's happening, or it's like frozen in space and then inching and figuring out this problem and then this problem and this problem, this problem. And then it compounds into like, oh my goodness, how did you create that? How did you do that? Everything is quantum energy. So yeah.
Wow, yeah. Thank you for sharing all of that, especially the Kobe book. I was obsessed with Kobe too. And when I worked at Mattel, they used to train
Yes.
the Lakers training center down the street. So I would see him driving. That was like,
So amazing.
yeah, yeah. Thank you for sharing. And especially how you got through the learning disability and all that very specifically. And I think now it's really important to remind yourself because you've just kept pushing through no matter what happened. You were just like, I don't care what this teacher says. I don't care what that person says. I'm going to make this happen. And you had your mom as your champion. So that's phenomenal. Okay. What did you learn when you were 11 years old that you have kept with you today?
So if I can switch it to what did I learn when I was 12?
Sure.
And that just goes back to I'm going to say something I believe in so much right now. It's so crazy. It's very positive, even though I'm emotional. It's very positive. So, like I mentioned, my dad passed away in October of 1996 when I was 12, and what I learned, it's so wild to me, is that he was an amazing lawyer and he was always writing on, let's see if I have one. Yeah, I have one right here. He was always writing on these like legal pieces of paper with red pen. And so much of who I am today, it's crazy to me that someone who was only with me till I was 12 like shaped so much of who I am today. That's crazy. So many parents that I am around, just because I have the four children, I don't think that they really know, like even that young, like it's crazy.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. No, I just got chills. That's amazing. I think it's something that stays with you forever. And I think you had your master teacher with you for the
Yeah.
12 years. And that was like that experience that you keep and technically still with you, but not physically here. But yeah, amazing.
And just to kind of wrap up that idea is like again, to be 39 years old and to like when I think back about my dad, to feel like he impacted so much and it's very positive. Like I think of all of that and I'm like, wow, it's so, so positive. And and so for all the 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, and 14-year-olds listening to this, like even though you might feel that you're young, you are shaping yourself so much right now. Like, crazy to me. My oldest son is 6, and I'm always like, wow, like, uh, it does really matter. So it's exciting. And I hope that that makes the people who are listening feel excited and empowered that even at this young of an age, you are choosing and shaping like everything that you will have in your life. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, wow. Okay, so now we're going to transition a little bit into your presentation you're going to share with us, and then we'll get to the questions that the secret agent sent, and then we're going to do something really quick at the end, which is like 60-second fun questions and also your key takeaways.
Okay, amazing. So sorry that I'm not sharing my screen, but I do have these images, and a lot of my presentation goes off of what we're kind of just speaking about, which is the compound effect. So anyone can, first we're going to start off with time blocking, and then we're going to start off with 12 like healthy things that maybe you could time block into your day. And maybe there's a way, I don't know, but if there is a way that we could ship a box of these as a gift to the classroom for each child to have, that would be very exciting. I don't know if there's a way.
I think we can, because I have to coordinate another shipment that came last week when we went that wasn't on time. So yeah, I think we could definitely do that.
My 6-year-old son has one of these, but he only writes like 1 or 2 things that he wants to do during his day. So time blocking is the idea that the day before the day, so if it's, let's say it's Wednesday, no, it's Tuesday. Tomorrow, is it Tuesday? Oh my goodness.
Today's Tuesday, yes.
So we would time block for Wednesday. So there's instructions on the first page of how to time block, and you would rip out Wednesday, and you always want to time block the day before so that you can keep this by your bed when you wake up in the morning. So one side could be like to-do lists before you map out what you're going to do. And I've been time blocking for 18 years, which is 180,000 hours. So the way that some people have a meditation practice or a yoga practice, this is something that I've done for 18 years that is a self-esteem building exercise between myself and myself.
And how did you get into this? I'm curious, like, how did it start?
It truly just started by myself, meaning I did not invent time blocking, but what I started to just always do right after college was like just writing out the hours and then writing what was happening the next day. And then later on, I learned from, if you really want a masterclass in time blocking, you can go to YouTube and you can see time blocking and everything, you know, and whether or not Elon Musk is a controversial topic, but whether or not, neither here nor there what we think about him, but he is a massive time blocker. So there's also people who are like always writing about his time blocking. And so there are just many, many, many successful people who believe in time blocking, but also women who are single moms who are working, always doing time blocking because their back is up against a wall. They really have no choice. So this tool is very empowering. I once wanted to do a billboard campaign in LA. We ended up doing a billboard for the Liquid Morning Raspberry multivitamin, but I wanted to do a billboard campaign of like a time block. Like the whole billboard is like a time block. I just believe in it so much. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies. We're here, and you're gonna write out whatever time school starts, or if you have a special presentation, or at recess you wanna talk with a certain friend in the yard, you're gonna write it there. And then maybe you come home from school at 4, then you wanna have a snack, then you wanna do your homework, then you wanna talk to your parent, then you wanna help your mom set the table for dinner. This is so powerful. And it's very exciting because if you become a very passionate time blocker, you would rip out 7 pages. And if your teacher says, oh, by the way, we're going to have a pop quiz. We're going to have a pop quiz on Thursday. And you're thinking, what? Like, why are they telling us only 2 days before? You already have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You write it not on the actual hours yet, but you write, oh yeah, oh, bring something for show and tell. Oh, it's pajama day. Oh, it's coach wants to talk to me after practice. Oh, we're having a pop quiz. So you start to think, oh, let me time block for 3 nights that I'm going to study for my pop quiz for 3 nights. This vitamins will always be very special because I believe that we need certain vitamins, minerals for just like broad spectrum for our blood work as human beings, especially with prenatal, postnatal, infants, toddlers, children, teenagers. Vitamins will always have a special place in my heart, but the number one thing I am most passionate about is time blocking. So the sky is the limit with this. The more that you use it, the more you will have so much self-confidence and so much self-esteem, because I believe that self-confidence and self-esteem comes from, hey, I want to try to do this. I didn't give up. I said I wanted to go for a walk for 20 days and I didn't do it, but on the 21st day I did it. It creates a momentum and it is so powerful. Also, my brother passed away from a peer pressure situation in high school, a very bad peer pressure situation. And I always have been fascinated by self-esteem and self-confidence and the ability to just say no. And sometimes the ability to say no to something comes from like, you already have a plan, okay? And maybe you're not going to allow external people to shove your plan out of the way. It's obviously not bulletproof, but just this idea that when you know what's important to you and where you're going, it's easier to stay in that lane and make small incremental choices that are positive and leading you in a very special direction. So that is time blocking. The second thing I always share with people is the art of health for busy people. So this is something I've been teaching for 10 years. And what's exciting is you don't have to do all of this, but you could pick 1 or 2 things and then time block it into your time blocker. So I'll read out what they are. This is just number 1 is like knowing when you're going to eat. So powerful. Guys, this is like when people would say, oh, MaryRuth, like, how did you build the company? While also having 4 children in 4 years. Well, my answer would be time blocking. So, I mean, that's the only answer. And I think that would be also Kobe Bryant's answer to how he became one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Universal truths resonate with everyone. And so what I found with this kind of time blocking and the compound effect and self-care, taking care of yourself or taking care of your loved ones is like, these are very powerful universal concepts that resonate so much with everyone, because at the bottom line of humanity is like, people want to move forward every day from wherever they're starting. So number 1 is pick when you're going to eat. So I like have a shake or like a smoothie in the morning before I drop my children at school. But like I'll remind myself, I'll make the smoothie. And then I love eating lunch at 12. I love eating a snack at 3. And I eat dinner very late because I have to put my children to bed. So I eat at like 8:30. If I didn't have to put them all to bed, I'd eat much earlier. But the point is, you want to kind of like, just even if you guys are just planning like your after school snack, just want to always make sure you've got what you need. And then chewing your food. So important to just chew your food. It's very important. You know, I always joke that the stomach doesn't have teeth. So you don't want to just chew your food twice and swallow it, because it's harder for your body to break down the food. So just chewing your food as much as you can is very healthy. Obviously no pressure. It's supposed to be like a casual thing. Like, it's good to pack snacks. It's good to chew your food. It's good to drink water. Obviously check with your doctor, but people usually say drink half your body weight in ounces in water. But for kids, just drink water. And a lot of the same ones about like food, snacking, cooking, baking. sunshine. So you have to check with your doctor, but the best way to get vitamin D is to be in the sun at least 15 minutes with no hat and no sunglasses, but check with your doctor. But you want to just make sure you get outside the same way that plants thrive in sunshine and water. We also need, if we're feeling a little sad, sometimes all we need is to just step outside in the yard and get some sun. Sleep is important. Exercise is important. Stretching is important. And the last three are very, very, very beautiful. One is just stress less. So one way to stress less about your pop quiz, or if you're having a fight with a friend, maybe you're going to time block a time when you're going to talk with your friends, or you're going to apologize to your friend, or you're going to talk to your coach because you feel like they're treating you unfairly. I mean, there's so many things we go through, and it's important to set time to not suppress them, but work through any conflict you might have, and then think positively, and then believe in a universal force of goodness. So this is very quantum. So just believing in a universal force of goodness, that if you speak words that are positive, it has a quantum energy. And if you speak negative words or have negative thoughts, it also has a frequency, a vibration. And so we're never going to think perfectly, speak perfectly, but we always want to go to our next level and try as much as we can to have positive thoughts and positive words and positive frequency, positive vibration. And that usually comes, happiness comes from progress. And a tool that can help you feel like you are making progress in your life is something like time blocking. And I'm happy to send these. We have these in PDFs. I can always send them, and then we can email them to the classroom if we need to. But this is a letter that I wrote. I'm not going to read it, but I'm going to read off very quickly the main themes. And these 3 worksheets I've been teaching pretty much for 10 years. And they're very meaningful to my own life and have helped me through a lot of things. But number 1 was the compound effect. Number 2 was time blocking. Number 3 was planning the day before. Okay, and then visualizing that even if your day gets totally messed up, which is totally normal, you can plan and then your day will get messed up. You just want to push whatever you were going to do to the next day and the next day and the next day to have perseverance and not give up. You might get sick. You might have to wait three weeks. You might have to wait 3 years. I told myself, I'm going to organize my house 5 minutes every day. And I don't care if it takes me 2 years to get done organizing the whole house. I love this one. Number 4, complaining for 1 minute a day at the end of the year is 6 hours of your life. I have to read that one again. Complaining for 1 minute a day at the end of the year is 6 hours of your life. Be very careful with your thoughts and your words. It doesn't mean we don't want to complain. It's very normal to share with people you love things that are hard for you. But just keep in mind, I think something like 5 minutes a day of complaining at the end of a year is 30 hours of your life. If you guys can learn this when you're 11, and I only learned this like recently, I'm like, how many years older than you? I'm like 30 years older than you. And these are things that I'm learning like later on in my life. I've been doing time blocking for a long time, but some of these things I'm learning so much later. If you can think like that, in a cumulative effect, in a compound effect, like, no, I don't want to complain for 5 minutes. I want to stretch. Or no, I don't want to get in a fight. I want to bake cookies instead. And where that will lead you and where that will take you is very powerful. Number 5, just being laser focused. Number 6 is the example of like what I was saying about 5 minutes a day, organizing your house or your closet, folding your laundry. You should never, this is what I think after just working for 10 years on the business and being with teams, like we think that what we do doesn't matter. I was talking about this with my sister-in-law. Like we think like, oh, what's the big deal? Like, should I fold the laundry now or should I fold it later? Should I help my mom fold her laundry? Does it matter? And I think that how you do one thing is how you're going to do everything. And so if you can see the value in like, you know what, I'm going to help my mom fold the laundry, because that is an action that will help move myself forward. And that is an action that will help move our family forward. that is where all the power lies. Because if you are constantly chipping away and choosing to do those little things, eventually you will become such a strong person. I say that the compound effects can make something a rocket ship. Like we have 100% growth year over year. There was a couple of years it was like 70% growth, but for 10 years our company has been growing and we've been profitable for all 10 years. And profitability is very important for taking care of people, taking care of your customers, taking care of your employees. And that comes from, I say like micro, micro, micro. So this is kind of like a little STEM equation I made up myself, but it's like micro, micro, micro equals EBITDA, EBITDA equals free will. So EBITDA is a form of profit. So you want to say micro, micro, micro equals EBITDA, EBITDA equals free will. Everyone in our all staff meetings agrees that a profitable company is a healthy company, the same way that a profitable, like a family that has a little bit of financial security is sometimes a healthier environment. So, and I was in debt for so many years, like I didn't pay my rent for 5 years once, but it shouldn't discourage you. I was in a debt management program. Like I remember it was really bad. It was really bad. And that's in my book a little, but the main takeaway was just, you're very powerful, and to whatever challenge, good or bad, is ahead of you, to direct your energy micro, 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 and keep going forward. And you don't have to know all the answers. And then number 7 is to be kind, both personally and professionally. And then I wrote the same thing we spoke about in the beginning. Know that whenever you go through a very challenging time, it is there to help expand your heart and openness to other people. It is not there to shrink you. Number 8, never get upset at people. This is a longer paragraph. I wrote about how even if someone is treating you very badly, even if they are really wrong, it is best to not be reactive, but instead write down everything you're feeling and share with them at another time. 9, self-awareness leads to happiness. And 10, there are no limits if you are willing to ask for help and be patient, and know that your life is unfolding and compounding decade after decade. So that is pretty much the presentation. And the idea is that you would take something that resonates with you, like stretching or thinking positively, and you would put it in here. And you can fold this up and carry this in your pocket, because you might forget. Sometimes once my children are sleeping, I unfold this and I read like, oh yeah, I wanted to put a face mask on while I made my husband dinner. And it's just like a little moment for myself.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing all of that. That was phenomenal. I feel like the time blocking, it's very similar to what happens in school when we have specific times for things. Like you mentioned recess, like different classrooms, all the things. So it's kind of extending that into your personal life and doing things that you want to do for yourself, but also to grow and learn and all the things. So that's very perfect for our super secret agents. It's awesome. And thank you again for sharing that. A couple things. You mentioned your book, and you got to tell us how that happened. So the book is called Liquids to Lunch. And then you also indicated how you actively involved with the healthcare industry. Can you elaborate a little bit on the importance of health, happiness, and psychological well-being?
Yes. So the book, I was able to get this book deal with HarperCollins, right, like a month before COVID. So I think that if COVID had happened, I don't think that it would have happened, because I flew to New York. Where's the book? I put it somewhere. And the pitch for the book was basically that every single person, this is everything on this chart, is free and accessible to everyone in the world. So that's kind of what got their attention. I said that even if someone was, unfortunately, if they were in jail, they could still do all of these things. And that book came out, I was pregnant with the twins. I wrote it in 2020. It came out in 2021. And then it was a Los Angeles Times and a Wall Street Journal bestselling book. Um, Especially if someone has lost someone they love, they usually really resonate with the book. And the one add value I wanted to share with any of the ladies who are listening is that it's always nice to get a book deal, but you don't need a book deal. I actually very much believe in self-publishing on Amazon. So if I ever did a second book, which I don't think I will, I would self-publish on Amazon. And some of the greatest books with like 50,000 five-star reviews have been self-published on Amazon. And what's amazing about self-publishing on Amazon is there's no editor and you will be able to write it exactly how you want. And I'm not saying anything bad about HarperCollins. They're amazing, but there still was an editor who was editing a lot of how I was sharing the information. So um, I'm sure there's some of the girls are thinking that they would like to write a book someday. And I highly recommend that you self-publish on Amazon. My company would not be here if it was not for Amazon. Because of Amazon and Shopify and D2C and e-commerce, we could enter into one of the most competitive elite spaces to sell in, which is VMS. If you can sell VMS, vitamins, minerals, and supplements on Amazon, that is one of the single hardest things to do. It is so cutthroat. And I am so appreciative to kind of like the fact that D2C exists because it took us 10 years, but we have 90 products in Whole Foods. We have 67 products in Vitamin Shop. We're in a lot of other retailers, but it all started with like self-empowering, which is like selling on Shopify, selling on Amazon, which is what I'm kind of suggesting if any of the girls have books in them to just go right for self-publish on Amazon. Like no ceiling all the way.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really, really, really helpful. You've also been on QVC as a guest, the Drew Barrymore Show, the Food Network, and Access Daily. Like, how did all of those things happen?
It's so amazing. Like everything I've ever done, I never know any of the answers. I just every day I time block and I am patient and in the end, so many amazing things happen. Like we've been on the Inc. 5000 list 2 years in a row. We got Rookie of the Year for Whole Foods. We got Nutrition Journal Business this year for like Best Company, which is like this massive award in nutrition.
That's
We got like
amazing.
a bunch of Goldman Sachs awards. Like I have a bunch of awards over there, but yeah, we were number 50 in the country for Inc. 5000 consumer products, fastest growing company. So when it came to like QVC and Drew Barrymore and Food Network and all of these things, I think it was just like our retail team like asked QVC, can we sell a clinically studied Bacillus subtilis probiotic gummy? And they're like, yeah, you can. So I think it's like these things kind of I don't have a PR person. I don't really believe in that at this juncture. I just believe in like internal matches external, which is like internally build the company and then externally it will match. It's just a different kind of philosophy that I believe in.
Yeah, that makes sense because you're the walking, breathing Mary Ruth. Like, like that's who you are and that's what the company emulates. That's like beyond amazing.
Thank you so much. We have a fireside chat that I do once a month with 1,000 customers. So if any of the girls listening ever want to come on, a lot of children come on. And this is not a promotion. I'm just saying that if they ever, it's free. It's free. The fireside chat is free. It's like a Q&A. But usually people just have to be on our email list to come to that. But it's been so rewarding because we don't record it. So we're not leveraging it for anything. It's just literally hanging out for 30 minutes. Every person gets 3 free products and everyone gets to ask questions. And people, like I said, come on with their children. And that is the single thing that I do that makes me the most happy when it comes to my business is we just need a new platform because we always block people out. We just take the first 1,000, but we've been doing it for a year and it's so rewarding. And then everyone's always like, you need to film it. And I'm like, no, we're not going to film it because it's very rewarding. And I think that for any of the girls listening, if they're able to tap into like who they want to be connected to in their life and how they want to add value, I think that there will be a lot of happiness for each person.
Thank you so much for extending that invitation. We'll definitely put that in the notes and share it with the school as well. Okay, so now we're going to transition into the kids' questions.
Great.
You are a role model and a real life superhero. Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh my goodness. Let's just say Kobe Bryant.
Awesome. Thank you for that. All right, let's see. Next question. Looking to the future is exciting. What do you imagine for us girls in STEM down the line, and how can we make sure that everyone gets a chance to be part of the STEM adventure?
So there's so many ways to answer this, but I will just share my personal belief and my personal truth. And there's no right or wrong answer. And if you ask 50 people will tell you something different. And my only message is if you are to do time blocking, there will be like no stopping all of the women, no stopping them.
That's unstoppable force. Okay,
That
another
is
one about superheroes. I love that, the unstoppable force. What superheroes do you find you have that pushed you to where you are today?
so. Does that mean just like
Oh,
important?
superpowers. Sorry, superpowers.
Yeah. So I think it comes from, there's a quote that says, discipline is self-love. So I also believe that structure creates freedom. So everyone wants the freedom to do what they love, but they need to also know that structure creates freedom. So in order to have freedom, I believe you have to have structure. In order to have structure, you have to love yourself very much. If you love yourself and you have self-confidence and self-esteem, you will be able to be disciplined. And and that is the superhero or superpower by the grace of God that I think I have, that I can always improve. But I have spent a lot of time asking myself, like, who am I? Like, what makes me happy? What's working for me? What's not working for me? And then to have the discipline to time block and to not get discouraged, and even if it didn't work for 3 weeks, to keep trying. And I think that because my dad and my brother passed away, I just really value time. Like, what if I could have one more conversation with them or do one more thing with them? So it's hard for me to take for granted, like, we do not have unlimited time to live out our life. So I just get so excited. Like every day I'm like, even also, we have to understand, like, I had so many kids in so many years. I was so sleep deprived. Like even right now, I'm very sleep deprived from like, I go through different periods with my kids, or they're sick, or I'm waking up, and it can really feel like a lot. But all throughout the sleepless nights and working, and the time blocking was always there for me. And that you need a tool to help you persevere. You can't just say, I'm going to have perseverance. So that's a superpower, just the perseverance with the tool of time blocking.
So true. Thank you for that. Okay, so last few questions. What advice would you give our aspiring secret agent trainees? I know you gave us a ton, but final in the audience, that would be like as a wrap up.
Amazing. There's always going to be things that happen in your life that are very positive, or things that happen that appear to be very, very negative. Some things are so overwhelming. My first child was told that there was only a 30% chance he would never walk. I mean, that was in itself and I found that out when my second son was like 6 weeks old, and I was still breastfeeding, and I had the business, and I used time blocking to, over like a 5 year period, to get my son like to the place where this year he's going to play basketball. in a league in October, and time blocking was there for like all the growth of my company and all the really tough moments. And even if you're just planning your wedding or you're going to a party or you have lost your job or a friendship or a relationship, there will be so much good and so much bad. But it's all about moving forward, moving yourself forward, and never looking to someone external to help you move forward. We always want to have mentors and support and communication with coaches, teachers, friends, family. But at the end of the day, to know that you literally can, it might take a long time, work through every challenge that is positive or negative. And that's what I think is very exciting. It's not just about the end goal. We always hear like, it's not just about the end goal. Like for me, it's about all the, like literally one final example is like, some nights after I put my children to bed, I'm so tired. I'm like, I can't take a shower. And then I take a shower and then I remember to tell myself, really good job. Like, good job, you took a shower, because that little action has now set my children and myself up for so much success in the morning, because I have to get out of bed, I have to get their lunch boxes, I got to dress them, I got to drop them off at school by 7:50. And that little micro action that we don't say to ourselves, good job. I mean, good job. You took the shower, you're ready to go, you go to bed on time. Going to bed on time is a power move. You got to go to bed on time. You got to drop your kids off at school, even if you're sick, even if you don't feel well. You're gonna go and you're gonna make it happen. And I'm so excited for everyone. I'm so excited for everyone who's listening. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. So how can our special secret agent trainees follow your journey moving forward? Is it Instagram, your website? Like, what's the best way to keep in touch with you?
So the best two things to do are on my Instagram. You can always direct message me, and then my team who reads the by the way, TikTok's amazing, but really for like the personal messages, write to me on Instagram, and then my team shows me those messages and I can reply to any questions you have about nutrition or anything. And then I would join our email list on our website so that you or people you love can come to like a free fireside, not recorded chat anytime you want, once a month.
Awesome. And I'm a testament to that's true, because I did reach out originally on Instagram and they did. And here we are. So thank you for that.
Yes, that's actually how yes. Amazing.
Yes. Okay, really quick, 60 seconds. Favorite toy as a child?
Oh my goodness. Favorite toy as a child? Oh my goodness. Should I be able to answer? Something like Chutes and Ladders, like some kind of board game. I know that might not be so exciting for people, but I grew up playing a lot of board games.
Cool. Okay, favorite video game?
Mario Brothers. I'm letting my children play like handheld Mario Brothers nonstop, and it just reminds me of the 80s.
Awesome. Okay, sci-fi. Is it Star Wars or Star Trek, or both?
Oh my goodness, don't hate me. I can never lie. It's neither.
How about space?
Space? I mean, I will say this. My daughter, Grace, she's one of the twins. We have like 3 or 4 puzzles. They're very large of space, and she can put every single planet in the puzzle. I think it came from my learning disability that I didn't have like that many interests. Yeah.
That's okay. Thanks for sharing. All right, we're going to do key takeaways now. Okay, and let us know if we missed anything, please. Okay, so be patient with getting better. It's a gradual process. You don't always have to be the best on every team. Work on your goal together. Say hi to everyone. Cultivate humility. Help others. Know your strengths and passions. Self-awareness and patience plus hard work equals success and happiness. Put in the work every day. It's a compound effect. Go slow, but move forward every day. You are shaping yourself so much. Age doesn't matter. Time block, super important. Be careful with your thoughts and words. What we do matters. There are no limits when you learn how to ask for help and work through everything that is positive and negative.
So amazing. And also just wanted to say one last one, which is really what I think of makes a really great leader, or different role models that I've had and watched and observed what made them powerful mentors to me, or watching them and I see that they're strong leaders, is that exactly the leader doesn't have to know everything, but the leader has to be so positive with each person. So there's a saying like the leader takes care of the people who take care of the results. So there's a lot of like taking care of people and having connection with them, and culture beats strategy. So a team working together that really cares about each other will beat strategy any day, or solve a problem much better than just a great budget and a great forecast and a great strategic plan. Like for me, it's just all people, and then what kind of force you are as a group.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank you
MaryRuth.
so
Thank you
much.
for sharing everything. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our super secret agent trainees are super lucky to have you today, and we're excited to see what you do next on your journey with MaryRuth Organics and potentially more books, and we'll see you on other
Thank you so
TVs
much.
as well. Have a
Thank you
great
so
rest
much.
of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow, WhizGirls. Thank you so much.